The Squad is giving Democrats a massive headache, and they could hurt Democrats in upcoming elections with single-issue voters, whose single issue is not voting for people that sound pro-terrorist. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. The world was shocked by a brutal attack on Israeli citizens in October, carried out by the terrorist organization Hamas. And while many Americans rallied in solidarity with Israel, members of the Squad did not. The Squad, for those of you who don't know, was originally a group of 4 progressive Democrat politicians, which has since expanded to 8. Kind of like the Suicide Squad, they're a group of, shall we say, colorful personalities. And like the Suicide Squad, the Progressive Squad is proving to be very hard for mainstream Democrats to keep under control. They're driving a deep split in the Democratic Party, especially after the Squad voted against condemning the Hamas attack, which really isn't a good PR move. Doing that makes it look like you're endorsing Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. Man, America's gone from we won't negotiate with terrorists to they're not so bad once you get to know them. The Squad's proving to be a massive headache for mainstream Democrats. Perhaps the biggest headache among them is Representative Rashida Tlaib. She is such a huge critic of Israel, so much so that she was quick to blame Israel for the Gaza hospital explosion multiple times, despite evidence indicating that the blast was caused by a misfired rocket launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Man, after a gaffe that bad, I'd say they need a spin doctor, but they'd probably accuse Israel of bombing them too. This drew the ire of many of her fellow Democrats, especially when Tlaib refused to apologize for saying Israel caused the Gaza hospital blast. Tlaib also sparked outrage when she posted a video on X that included chants of "from the river to the sea," a phrase commonly used to advocate for the complete eradication of the Jewish state from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. This got her into so much trouble that 70 House Democrats hit back on Tlaib in a letter. Some even voted with House Republicans to censure Tlaib over her Israel comments. Which might not sound that bad, but writing angry letters and voting to censure someone is Congress's equivalent of slashing someone's tires. It especially didn't help Tlaib's popularity among Democrats when she accused Democratic U.S. President Joe Biden of having a war and destruction only approach, even going so far as to accuse Biden of supporting genocide, which is a bit extreme. The only thing Biden is killing indiscriminately is his approval rating. But Tlaib isn't the only progressive causing problems for Democrats. Fellow Squad member Cori Bush led the Ceasefire Now resolution that all the other Squad members signed, which critics noted didn't mention Hamas's aggression or how it's categorized as a terrorist organization, which is an honest mistake. I mean, it's not like America has a slogan imploring everyone to never forget the targeted murder of civilians by terrorists. Also, like Tlaib, Bush has accused Israel of ethnic cleansing and the U.S. of funding it. Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries criticized her remarks, saying that Israel is not conducting an ethnic cleansing campaign. All this is just a snippet of the things the Squad has said and done. The Squad has made such distasteful comments that even the White House denounced them, calling their statements repugnant and disgraceful. And now there are some Democrats explicitly going after the Squad. A former Clinton advisor and the former New York City Council president are going so far as to implore the Democratic Party and voters to get rid of the Squad. According to them, Democrats can no longer afford to brush the Squad's virulent anti-Semitism under the rug, lest they pay a steep electoral and moral price. Well, they're definitely not wrong to worry about the electoral price, at least. They went on to say the Squad's positions are deeply out of sync with mainstream Americans and will tarnish the entire Democratic Party if we allow them to remain under the Democrat banner. But is the movement to eliminate the Squad gaining traction? I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. Members of the Squad are facing massive backlash from fellow Democrats over their stances on Israel, and this could come back to bite them, especially in the primaries. Lots of money is being thrown around to take down the Squad. The United Democracy Project Super PAC, for example, ran a series of attack ads hitting Squad members, like this one.
1,400 Israelis slaughtered by Hamas. women raped, babies beheaded, over 200 hostages. But Jamal Bowman was one of just 10 votes in Congress against condemning Hamas's terrorism. Tell Jamal Bowman to stand with Israel.
The Democratic majority for Israel likewise bought a six-figure TV ad to bash Tlaib.
She's one of only 7 Democrats in Congress to vote against missile protection for Israel. One of only 9 Democrats against condemning the brutal attack on Israel by Hamas. Her legislation would allow the terrorists to rearm themselves. And she refuses to answer even this horrific question.
You can't comment about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads?
Tell Rashida Tlaib she's on the wrong side of history.
Wow, all that money just for this 30-second ad. Did they air this during the Super Bowl? To be fair, I'd rather watch that than another Super Bowl commercial asking me to scan a QR code. Now, some were reportedly willing to pay even more. Democratic Senate candidate Hill Harper alleges that he was offered $20 million to challenge Tlaib, though he reportedly didn't accept it. But Slate reports that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, is expected to spend at least $100 million in Democratic primaries to eliminate incumbent squad members. Man, I haven't seen someone pay so much to hire someone to eliminate an enemy without John Wick being involved. There are already some names floating around as potential contenders against the squad. Democrat Bhavini Patel is one of them. She seeks to unseat squad member Summer Lee. Although Patel announced her candidacy before the Hamas attack on Israel and hasn't made the conflict a centerpiece in her campaign, it seems clear that pro-Israel leaders are already planning to rally behind Patel. Pittsburgh Jewish leaders have long accused Summer Lee of harboring anti-Israel sentiments. Democrat Don Samuels, meanwhile, is launching a rematch campaign for Congress against Ilhan Omar after having narrowly lost to her in 2022, citing her stances on Israel as one of his reasons. To which Omar responded by claiming that Samuels was a tool of right-wing donors who have opposed her since she sought office. It's ironic, the squad were always so quick to liken anyone they disagreed with to Nazis, and are now the first to overlook Jews being senselessly slaughtered. Other Democrats are so tired of the squad that they're switching races. St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell gave up his shot at a Senate seat just so he could run against Bush in the House race. Even those squad members who are trying to navigate the Israel-Hamas debate more carefully aren't getting much slack. Jamal Bowman, the same guy who set off a false fire alarm during a House vote, is facing primary opposition for what many see as a history of anti-Israel posture. It especially doesn't help that he spoke at a pro-Palestinian rally right after the Hamas attack. Although he's seen here condemning Hamas, his approach of blaming both sides isn't seen positively by local Jewish leaders, especially when he voted against the resolution to formally condemn Hamas. So he verbally condemned Hamas but didn't commit to doing it in writing. Like I said, angry letters are Congress's equivalent of slashing someone's tires. The real OG squad member, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, meanwhile, has also been getting flack for not condemning her fellow squad members and for her vote against the resolution I mentioned earlier to formally condemn Hamas. To which AOC responded by calling AIPAC racist and bigoted. Ah yes, the old I am rubber, you're glue, whatever you say to me, makes you the racist. It now seems, though, that pressure on the squad may have tamed them a bit, because earlier this week, nearly all squad members, minus Bush, voted with the rest of Congress to condemn Hamas's October 7th attack and demand the release of hostages. Wow, even Tlaib. We'll see how the squad fare in upcoming elections. But from what I gather, the internal fight among Democrats is a welcome one for Republicans, just as Democrats welcome Republicans having their own civil wars. And here's a video I want you to check out. It's about how some people have some pretty awful takes on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Don't worry, I won't judge you for clicking on Mia Khalifa. And while you're at it, hit that orange button to support America Uncovered on Patreon. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.